548 is provided by our audience, Kentucky Tourism, Insight Communications, XM Satellite Radio Coast to Coast, and the American Forces Radio Network worldwide.
By QCA, providing affordable compact disc, DVD, cassette, and vinyl record manufacturing. When it's time for you to make your CD, call QCA.
By our worldwide family of WOODSONGS partners, our show is sponsored by the audience.
And by the Deering Banjo Company, makers of fine handcrafted banjos like the brand new WOODSONGS long neck open back banjo. Black, sleek, and it sounds so sweet. Online at DeeringBanjos.com.
And by the Lexington Convention and Visitors Bureau and the beautiful and comfortable Embassy Suites Hotel in Lexington. Take your next vacation trip to the musical state of Kentucky. To attend a taping of WOODSONGS, visit our website at woodsongs.com.
Here on the Louisiana Hayride, his name is
Hank Williams,
the Drifting Cowboy.
On the Grand Ole Opry, Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys.
Hi, this is Bruce Hornsby. Hi, this is Kevin Moe.
Hey folks, this is Bela Fleck.
Hi folks, this is Sam Bush.
Hello, this is Odetta.
This is Joan Baez, and you're listening to the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio Hour.
And now, gather the family around and sit back in your easy chair. It's time again for the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio Hour, our worldwide celebration of grassroots music. Let's welcome folk singer, author, and tree hugger, Michael Jonathan.
It's autumn on a mountain, falling all around. Fragrance of those leaves drift without a sound, and the music of a chimney fire fills the air again. Colored leaves just sail the breeze like smoke upon the wind. Now it's nighttime on a mountain. It falls without a sound. Cabin in that silent woods, no one else around. So build a fire for company and warm the stars above. Now it's time to pour the wine and let the mountain drink it up. Evergreens, firelight, and rustic cabin walls. You know nothing feels the same when your inner mountain calls. Where city lights and starry nights look better than they should. You can take it with you everywhere, this cabin in the woods. And now it's morning on a mountain, crisp and frosty air. Sunrise sends a golden beam that wakes me unaware. It's time to start another fire, another day prepare, and let music fill these cabin walls like city noise out there. Evergreens, firelight, and rustic cabin walls. You know nothing feels the same when your inner mountain calls. Where city lights and starry nights look better than they should. You can take it with you everywhere, this cabin in the woods.
The WOODSONGS Old-Time Radio Hour is presented in part by the Kentucky Department of Tourism. You can explore the hundreds of rivers, lakes, mountain parks, horse farms, music festivals, the 2010 World Equestrian Games, and other vacation destinations across the beautiful state of Kentucky online at KentuckyTourism.com.
And by listeners like you, this radio broadcast is an all-volunteer-run multimedia celebration of grassroots music made possible by our worldwide audience. Information on how you can become a WOODSONGS partner is online at WOODSONGS.com.
And welcome to the historic Kentucky Theater. Here we are in our hometown of Lexington, Kentucky. So nice to see everybody packing out our theater as you do every single week where we're celebrating independent and grassroots music. So if you're home, if you're in your car, I want you to call your friends, gather around the radio the old-time way. This is a high-tech, multi-format folk show where we celebrate this wonderful world of grass music as though it was a precious diamond. It has all these facets to it. It's folk and blues and bluegrass, country, Celtic, old-timey, new singer-songwriters, even classical and jazz music. We celebrate it all. Why? Because if you decimate or ignore just a single facet of that diamond, you've ruined the preciousness and the value of that music as a whole. So we broadcast worldwide on so many great radio stations like the one you're listening to right now. You don't have to be famous to be on WOODSONGS. You just have to be very, very good. And certainly that is the case with the artist that we're dedicating this entire broadcast to. He's one of the most respected, adventurous musicians that is out and across North America and the world. He's got a CD called Crossing Bridges. He's going to introduce a song called Emily's Real. Please welcome Mark O'Connor's Appalachia Waltz Trio to the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio. It's the great Mark O'Connor, the Appalachia Waltz Trio from a CD, Crossing Bridges, Emily's Real. Mark, it's great to have you back.
Thank you very much for having me.
You've been a busy guy. You've been just having fun with all this music that you're doing, and it's a lot of it. I mean, you're doing a lot of different kinds of projects.
Yes, it's been a terrific last couple of years. I just released my first symphony that I composed, and the great Baltimore Symphony performed my Americana Symphony. And I'm using a lot of folk music, a lot of fiddle music from America in all these different settings, orchestral, the string trio, string quartets, and other formats that for the first time I'm trying to bring the language of Americana into the classical environment.
Well, congratulations on the... Mark it at 7:09, please. We've got a bad mic. Need the analog clock, please. Sorry, Mark. We're going to pick it up right where we are. Okay. Yeah. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Sorry, what we have is the mic went out during the broadcast. If you'd like to become a WOODSONGS partner, this is a really good time. Yeah. Check. Sound check, sound check. Okay. Play with my cable? Okay. Eric was playing with my cable. Okay. 7:08:30. What we're going to do is we're going to make believe Mark just finished his song. We're going to do that in 15 seconds. Here we go. It's Mark O'Connor with the Appalachia Waltz Trio from the CD Crossing Bridges. Mark O'Connor, thanks for coming back on the show.
Thanks very much for having me.
You were here once before. It seems like a few years ago. Since then, you've been like very, very busy, one of the busiest musicians out there, having a lot of fun with this music that's a cross between fiddling and classical music.
I'm so happy to bring the Appalachia Waltz Trio here, music that I originally recorded with Yo-Yo Ma and Edgar Meyer 15 years ago. And I'm, these young musicians that are playing with me, Jillian Gallagher and Mike Block, are just terrific.
Let's give them
terrific
some
musicians.
Mike Block on cello, Jillian Gallagher on violin. And you just recorded with the Baltimore Symphony.
Yes, I just composed my very first symphony,
Well,
the
good for
Americana.
you. That took a while.
The Baltimore Symphony recorded it. It's called the Americana Symphony, and I'm doing a lot of music where I'm composing and I'm using the language of American fiddling, American folk music, and bringing it into the classical music settings. And something I've been working on, Appalachia Waltz is a part of this, and now with the symphony orchestra, I'm very excited about it.
Now, you didn't start out as a passionate classical musician starting all these genres. I mean, you were listening to bluegrass, and guitar was your main instrument when you started out as a kid.
It was for a few years.
Yeah.
I played several different instruments, but classical music was the very first instrument, the music genre that I studied. And then I added flamenco, and I didn't actually play.
All right, whoa. How does classical and flamenco come in here? How does that?
All I can say is
What's
my
going
mom.
on in your head?
I know my mom was very eclectic, and she liked all these different things. She liked the world of music, and when we discovered American folk music when I was 11, that's when I got it going on this instrument, the violin.
You were watching like a Johnny Cash show, if I remember.
Loved the Johnny Cash show.
And he would have all these cool, he was kind of like WOODSONGS before WOODSONGS. He would have all these cool things like Dylan and Joni Mitchell.
Doug Kershaw.
Doug Kershaw was the crazy Cajun fiddler. Yeah. And was that what kicked you in the butt as far as really taking the fiddle beyond the classical note thing?
Yeah, I really got engaged with all of the American music, blues to bluegrass, all the things that you feature here on this show. And those are my guiding forces, and I still am inspired with the language of American music, and when I compose I bring all that into the music.
Now, you lost your mom at an early age. You were 15 years old, and I don't want to delve into that because it's probably very personal, but she introduced a lot of this passion for the music, and when you lost her, you had to sort of carry on without her encouragement. Was that a hard thing for you to do as a kid?
Yeah, especially when I was a child musician. I actually had a recording contract when I was 12 years old, and I was a traveling child musician, and often I would travel by myself. And I would travel around the country and play for people, houses like this, and I've been at it for a long time. But it was interesting to try to make that transition from being a child performer into a mature, a musician in my adult life.
Well, your mom must have been very proud of you, and I'll brag on you because I know you won't do it yourself, but at 11 years old, he was the national junior fiddle champion, and that's no small feat. Let's carry on with the music and the sound of the Appalachia Waltz Trio. The CD's Crossing Bridges. This is a song called Old Country Fairy Tale. Mark O'Connor on the WOODSONGS, Old Time Radio.
Thank you.
Lovely. The song is Old Country Fairy Tale. You'll find that on Crossing Bridges, CD by Mark O'Connor's Appalachia Waltz Trio. And we got to give him props again. Mike Block playing the cello, Jillian Gallagher playing viola with Mark, both Juilliard students, master musicians themselves. How do you find two people like this to play with?
Isn't it extraordinary?
Yeah.
I moved to New York City about 4 years ago, and I held a series of auditions for all my different groups and new compositions. And these guys showed up, and I went, oh, my gosh, I'm going to be fine.
Well, I'm glad you got them here, and it's really nice to be introduced to their skills. I mean, they're really keeping up with you nice. Now, you are not foreign to performing with a lot of talented young people. You were one yourself. And we mentioned before that you won the National Junior Fiddling Champion at age 11, but 2 years later, you won the Grand Masters Fiddle Champion in Nashville, Tennessee. I mean, that's a national championship. Yeah. So it's like you're 13, 14 years old. You're in the worldwide capital of fiddle players there in Nashville, and you win. So the audience, a lot of them will have this feeling that the fiddle and the violin are two different instruments. So let's explain the difference between the two, without going to the old joke that one you get paid, the other you don't.
That's right.
The difference between fiddling and violin.
Well, historically, it's the same instrument. This is a beautiful instrument made in 1830. There's nothing different for the instrument itself. Sometimes the style of playing can be referred to as fiddle music and fiddling, like hoedowns. But then when you come to other genres like swing or jazz, you could use both, swing violin, swing fiddle, blues fiddle, blues violin. So it means the same thing. I always say to students when I ever give a class, I always hold up the instrument. I say, this instrument is so cool it has two names. So.
Well, now what you're playing with the Appalachia Waltz Trio, though, is leaning very heavily towards the classical music world, but with a lot of these other influences. I'm hearing the jazz and the folk and some of the fiddle parts that are happening in it. So now you're incorporating all of this, sort of reintroducing this Americana feeling to the classical world.
I'm hoping that there's going to be a new emphasis on a new American string school, a movement of new string players coming forward, people that will not only love the classics and play them too, but have a knowledge about our music here in America. It's such a powerful history, 400 years of this instrument right in this area of the country. And that's just too hard to ignore, I think. And I'm doing everything I can to bring what I'm doing into the school systems, into academia. I give a lot of residencies at universities to talk about this very thing. I'm even publishing a violin method, and it's going to be out in a month. My website is probably a good place to go, markoconnor.com, for information on that. But the method will be able to have teachers teach young little students how to play the violin utilizing our fiddle music. And I think that's a concept that's going to work, and I'm going to really get out there and see if it can.
Well, you're doing a great job, and just like Doug Kershaw inspired you when you were a young kid, you are encouraging so many that are listening to you. So let's get back into the music. The CD's Crossing Bridges. If you really want to explore this journey with Mark O'Connor, that's the CD to get. Crossing Bridges is the album. College Hornpipe is the song. It's Mark O'Connor's Appalachia Waltz Trio on the WOODSONGS, Old Time Radio. It's the Appalachia Waltz Trio with the great Mark O'Connor leading the way. I think that we're going to be enjoying a brilliant second half hour, so I want you to stay right where you are. Our stage is going to be loaded with some extra special guests, especially one in particular. You're going to be glad you tuned in, so stay right where you are. We'll be back right after this.
You're listening to WOODSONGS show number 548, broadcasting from the historic city of Lexington, and presented in part by Kentucky Tourism, listeners like you, and hundreds of WOODSONGS radio partners from around the world.
If you would like to attend a WOODSONGS live audience broadcast when visiting Kentucky, you will find reservation and show schedules on our website, woodsongs.com.
We'll be back in 60 seconds with more of the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio Hour. Our show is supported in part by Sing Out Magazine and the Folk Alliance International. Celebrating the world of folk music worldwide, you can learn more online at folk.org. By D'Addario Guitar, Banjo, Mandolin, and Cello Strings. And by the Heil line of professional microphones used on the stage of the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio Hour.
The second half of our show is presented in part by our worldwide family of WOODSONGS partners. To learn more about our volunteer-run broadcasts or to browse our online archive of past shows, to sign up for our email newsletter, or to attend a live broadcast in the Kentucky Theater, you can visit us online at woodsongs.com.
Live on tape at the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio Hour facility. Bye.
And thank you very much, Arlo. He's a guy who recently recorded with a symphony, joining that classical music and folk music. We're on the air worldwide. We're celebrating an entire hour with Mark O'Connor and the Appalachia Waltz Trio. We're on the air from Australia to Ireland, New Zealand to New York, Yuma, Arizona to the Yukon, in northern Canada, where we are just exploring this beautiful ocean of grassroots music. It's like a grand voyage, and WOODSONGS is the ship that's taking you there. We're on great radio stations like WUMB in Boston, Massachusetts, Alabama Public Radio, South Texas Public Radio, High Plains Public Radio, broadcasting across Kansas and northern Texas, WBGU in Ohio, of course, great radio stations like Utah Public Radio, and we have a new affiliate that we want to have welcome to our affiliate family, besides our host affiliate, WEKU, here in central Kentucky. Joining us now is KUGS Radio, an FM station in Bellingham, Washington, part of Western Washington University. So great that the radio family is expanding. Of course, XM Satellite Radio, you'll find us on XM 15, The Village. And, you know, we were just mentioning Arlo Guthrie. We want to invite a friend of ours here to the stage because he's going to sort of take part a little bit on what's about to happen on our WOODSONGS broadcast. Please welcome the Director of Orchestras from the University of Kentucky, John Nardolillo, to the stage. Hey, John, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Arlo Guthrie launched us into the second half hour, and you just recorded an album with Arlo.
That's right. The University of Kentucky Symphony Orchestra made a record with Arlo. It's, in a way, it's something similar to what Mark O'Connor does with orchestras. It's sort of a fusion project with the orchestral settings of old folk songs of Arlo's and his dad Woody and old Lead Belly songs.
Well, folk music is sort of the classical music of the blue-collar world, and it's really appropriate that the two worlds do come together in setting the present great artists like Arlo Guthrie, like Mark O'Connor, but it's happening more and more.
Well, I mean, I really think that people view the two kinds of music as being quite different, but really it's all the same stuff. It's all the same music, and there's really not a big difference. You know, if you think about George Gershwin or Aaron Copland, you know, who were coming from, you know, jazz idiom. Copland was setting old folk songs, Gershwin was setting jazz, but for the orchestra. And in a way, that's the same kind of thing that Mark is doing with the old-time fiddle music.
Well, we've got some of your students from the University of Kentucky that are about to join Mark on the next two songs. The Verdi Quartet from the University of Kentucky will be becoming part of the Appalachia Waltz Trio. So that must be very proud for you. I mean, you're getting to not just explore with these major artists, but you're getting your students to be part of it.
Well, having a chance for our students to work with Mark, who's in Lexington, to do a residency at the University of Kentucky with the orchestra, and having the chance for our students to work with him and learn from him, and get up close with a great artist and share with that. It's tremendous for us.
Well, this is a chance for a real highbrow, university, classically trained, big guy like you to give the world-famous WOODSONGS ID, John. So why don't you go ahead and do
yes,
that.
All right. If I can get my paper turned the right way here.
Here we go.
All right, I'm John Nardolillo from the University of Kentucky in Lexington, and I got my G string plucked on the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio Hour.
There you go. John Nardolillo. Thank you, buddy. Welcome to WOODSONGS. Joining the Appalachia Waltz Trio is going to be the Verdi Quartet from the University of Kentucky. The song is Strings and Threads Suite, joining Mark O'Connor on the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio.
Thank you.
You'll find that on a CD called American Seasons, Strings and Threads Suite. Mark O'Connor. We got to give some props to the Verdi Quartet from the University of Kentucky. Ian Kagan on violin, Diogo Pimentel on violin, the lovely Lubitsa on viola, and Jeffrey Hirschberger on cello, joining the Appalachia Waltz Trio. Some hometown folks. So, Mark, we're going into something I think is kind of important. I want to set it up a little bit. We're going back into the Crossing Bridges CD, and this is part of your Americana Symphony that you were talking about, this next song. And this is just a grand celebration, musical celebration of all this music all at once.
Yes, I had the good fortune to be able to compose Appalachia Waltz it's been about 16 years ago now. And a couple of years after that, I showed it to Yo-Yo Ma, and together we created the Appalachia Waltz projects, Appalachia Waltz and Appalachian Journey, and did a few world tours and so forth. Appalachia Waltz is really...
You say that so nonchalant. Let's You showed it to Yo-Yo Ma, probably one of the grandest four-stringers out there, right? And then you did a couple of world tours. Okay, I just want to make sure we're capturing what you're talking about. It must be very interesting to be you.
Well, it's been absolutely fascinating. I always think of my musical journey as just that. You know, it's just unpredictable, and I've met so many interesting people and been so many places, and it's all because of music for me. And the Appalachia Waltz really has taken me so many places as well. The music helps me to define how classical music and folk music from America can meet right in the middle and become a third thing. And that's what I was hoping to do with this piece. And with the Americana Symphony, using the Appalachia Waltz as the theme all the way through the symphony, carrying that journey all the way from the first settlers on the East Coast, and as we cross over the prairies and the desert, up the Rocky Mountains and the setting sun in the west. It really describes Americana.
Well, let's get on to that journey. It's from the CD Crossing Bridges. This is the song he's talking about. It's Appalachia Waltz with the Grammy Award-winning Mark O'Connor and the Appalachia Waltz Trio and the Verdi Quartet all together on the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio Hour. Just beautiful. The Grammy Award-winning Mark O'Connor. Crossing Bridges is the CD. Appalachia Waltz is the song. Absolutely beautiful. Performed with the Verdi Quartet from the University of Kentucky here in Lexington. And, of course, the Appalachia Waltz Trio. Now, Mark, we have 2 cellos, these violas, these violins, and of everybody on the stage, I can't help but notice that you are the tallest fiddler that we have on the stage. See where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
You are the tallest fiddler here. For our radio audience, he's standing here in wonderful black slacks and a bright blue shirt, and he is, in fact, the tallest fiddler on the stage. And I figured we have to do something to celebrate the sheer height of his skill and his talent of this guy. So there's a friend of mine that was kind of like, he had nothing to do today. And so he was here nearby, and we rang him up. And all the way from Australia, he's going to help us celebrate Mark's tallness. Please welcome our good friend, master guitarist Tommy Emmanuel, to the stage. Tommy Emmanuel. Now you're here. You're out getting ready you're getting ready to traipse around the country again.
I am.
You're promoting a new record that you're going to have out soon with Frank Vignola. And
That's right. Yeah.
And we're going to have you back on WOODSONGS to celebrate that album here in the near future.
I look forward to that, brother.
But we invited you here because, like we said, Mark is a 6-foot-plus fiddler.
Yeah.
And you just happen to have a wonderful song called Tall Fiddler.
Tall fiddler, yeah.
Tommy Emmanuel and Mark O'Connor together. This is a YouTube clip on the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio. Tommy Emmanuel, great master guitarist. And wasn't it great having Mark O'Connor on our show for the whole broadcast? Mark, you were here with the very talented Appalachia Waltz Trio, the Verdi String Quartet from the University of Kentucky. Don't you feel what passion is supposed to be like, with the excitement and the joy? And you know, when Mark was a kid, he lost a very, very precious part of the encouragement for him to continue when he lost his mom. And sometimes loss gives birth to an incredible greatness. But can you imagine if his mom was here now, how incredibly proud she would be of this wonderful artist that he has become. He has really exemplified the universality of classical music and folk music and bluegrass, and he's put it all together, and we're very, very grateful that he shared that journey with us. But most important, if not for the radio station you are listening to now, we would not be able to present this amazing journey of American music in the form of Mark O'Connor's vision. It's really important to support the hometown radio stations that allow WOODSONGS to carry on this journey. My name is Michael Jonathan. I am a folk singer. I am a tree hugger. And we'll see you next week on the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio.
You've been listening to WOODSONGS broadcast number 548. Michael's opening song was The Cabin with the Hip to Chick Strings, featuring Lisa Schwakowski on cello, Anna Hess and Maggie Lander on violin, Steve Franken on viola, and Bob Bryan on bass.
Our chief engineer is Kevin Darth Fader Johnson. Technical assistants are Brian Clausey, Brandon Eves, Eric Anderson, and Jerome Cyberboy Galt.
The all-volunteer WOODSONGS crew is Lil Shulman, Larry Storer, Colonel Glenn Wilson, Sweet Marie Wilson, Scott Getzinger, Sylvia Davis, Dr. Bob and Mary DiMattina, Mim King, Roger Ross, Jan Clay Britton, David Wormley, Suzanne Howell, Garrett Green, Ernie Lowther, Maria Clare, Jenna Dickens, Catherine Jitstrup, Telly Gallagher, Yvonne Marks, and the incredibly handsome Judge Ray Korn.
Our public television and internet broadcast is presented by Inside Communications, directed by Brian Connors Mankey. The TV crew includes Jim Piston, Kurt Jefferson, Chris Cheney, Will McGill, John Somerset, Brady Williams, John Robinson, and Camilla Olson.
Special support provided by Highbridge Spring Water, QX.net, Natasha's Cafe, and Al's Grill in Lexington. Guest accommodations and hospitality provided by the Embassy Suites Hotel in Lexington, Kentucky.
WOODSONGS is produced with the support of the City of Lexington and Inside Communications. WOODSONGS and the WOODSONG symbol are registered trademarks of Rachel Aubrey Music. Our show is produced with the support of WEKU-FM, Eastern Kentucky University Public Radio. Thanks for listening. I'm Joe Conkright.
For Michael Jonathan and the entire WOODSONGS crew, this is Dorothy Edwards. We hope you will join us again next week for the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio Hour.
Very good job tonight. Thank you very much. And let's get our wires together. What we're going to do is a radio commercial first, then a TV commercial. You're all going to be part of the TV commercial. Thank you guys for sitting down and hanging with us. We're going to do this very quick, and then you are going to have some more spectacular music from them after we do this.
The encore section of the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio Hour is presented in part by the historic city of Lexington, Kentucky, welcoming listeners, viewers, and visitors from all over the world.
And by Inside Communications and our family of WOODSONGS partners. You can support our broadcast and this massive online archive of shows by becoming a WOODSONGS radio partner. Sign up today on our partners page at woodsongs.com.
Talk. All right. Thank you. Very good. Here we go. Now, here's what we're going to do is first the radio commercial. Thank you for bearing with us. We've got so many things breaking down and stuff, but we've hung in there. We've done it. This WOODSONGS crew has done an amazing job with Scotch tape and super glue, keeping it together. All right, first the radio spot. I'm going to go ahead and read this thing off, and then at the end, I'm going to say on the next broadcast of, and then you say it with me nice and loud, WOODSONGS Old Time Radio Hour, and start applauding. Don't stop till we say stop, okay? Thank you very much. Here we go. Nice and quiet in the room, please. In 5, 4, 3. This is folk singer Michael Jonathan. It is a special adventure of song and music with multi-instrumentalist Grammy Award-winning violin master Mark O'Connor and his Appalachia Waltz Trio, plus some very, very special guests. It's a fascinating musical conversation on the next broadcast of the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio. Okay, next thing that we want to do is, Mark, why don't you come over here? And let's get you fellas and girls to come over here. Let's get the Hippie Chick String Quartet over here. And you can sit there. Okay? And we're going to go ahead and do the TV commercial. Same thing, only you got to watch the Magic Pinky. Same thing at the end. You do the same thing you did before. Come on. Lupita was with the WOODSONGS Hippie Chick String Quartet for 1.5 years, and it's nice to have her back. A little closer. Okay, let's everybody gather around. Let's all gather around. Where's everybody? All right. I've never seen so many fiddles in my life. Yes? Huh? Yeah. We're going to wait for Tommy Emmanuel to come out real quick. How you doing? Nice shirt. Let's see. As soon as we get Tommy out here, we're going to go ahead and do this. Is he back there? I hear footsteps. There he is. Come here, Tommy. Tommy, why don't you come over here? Come here, Tommy. Come here. All right. Right over here. Yeah, it's okay. Can we call you Igor? Yeah. All right. Let's try to do.
Where are we?
We're going to there. Okay. Yeah. You want to do it?
What about the ladies?
Why don't you just do it?
What?
Do the spot.
What spot? Thank you, Spot.
Okay. All right. You ready? Okay, here we go. I'm going to do this in one take. Because I'm that good. All right. Ready? All right. In 5. Everybody here? Yes. Is that your thumb?
That's his thumb.
The way the crew treats me sometimes, I'm not sure. It's a joke. It's a joke. Where's John? John, come up here, John. Come on. Might as well get everybody up here, right? Okay. I'm just hoping there's enough 2x4s on this side of the stage. All right. Ready? In 5, 4. This is a lot of people watching this. Yeah? It's up to you. Hold on. No, stay here. Come here. All right. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3. Michael Jonathan on the stage with the historic Kentucky Theater. It was an amazing night of music. Mark O'Connor was here, Grammy Award-winning violin master with the Appalachia Waltz Trio, the Verdi Quartet. This guy, Tommy Emmanuel from Australia, with a special appearance. You had to have been here. If you weren't, you get to watch it thanks to Insight Communications. Tune into this week's broadcast of the WOODSONGS Old Time Radio Hour. Did we do it? Okay. My ear monitors went dead, so I'm assuming that's a battery problem and not a... Okay, thank you. All right, you guys, back to your position. You want to do another song? You want to do another song? He's okay if he... We're going to get Tommy Emmanuel to do another song for everybody. By yourself. by yourself. As we mentioned, this is a good night to become a WOODSONGS partner, as things are just breaking down left and right. WOODSONGS has no sponsors. You are the audience, is the underwriters of this broadcast. The audience helps us be able to present Mark O'Connor's music on a worldwide level. There's over 493 radio stations depending on us to bring them a new broadcast 44 weeks a year. This amazing, all-volunteer crew happening right here in your home community. If you want to be an integral part of what WOODSONGS is, becoming a WOODSONGS partner is the way to do that. As you're leaving tonight, they'll be handing out some brochures with that information. Mark, you do have your CDs here tonight, and you'll be in the lobby to say hi to folks. Okay, so there's a lot of good community stuff going on, and we're plugging in, and we're happening. Please welcome Tommy Emmanuel back to the stage. Tommy Emmanuel. Now, he is going to be back on WOODSONGS. We're thinking around February he'll be here for a special event with a wonderful guitarist from New York City, Frank Vignola, who's also been on the show before. Just two amazing, blazing, fast, super cool guys. And speaking of super cool guy, Mark O'Connor, you're here. You're going to be doing a performance at the University of Kentucky, and we want to invite our friends to come to that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, I'll be here just in a few weeks. The last week of this month, last week of October. And I'll be doing one of those residencies that I mentioned during the show.
Well, tell folks what a residency is.
Residency is where a university or a music school will invite an artist in for several days to do a series of rehearsals, workshops, classes, and performances. And I've been doing a lot of those this last few years, and it's been very rewarding. It allows me to really see some of the really young, brightest string players coming out of the, exactly, like Mike and Jillian, and to be able to take American music to them firsthand, because, you know, what we're doing today is, you know, not taught in conservatories, but perhaps one day it will.
But it's on WOODSONGS.
That's right.
So now, as part of your residency, you're going to be doing a public performance at the Singletary Center of the Arts.
Right.
And folks can get tickets to come see that. When is that?
That's going to be on the Friday night. I think it's the 30th. And also, I'll be in Ashland, Kentucky, just a few days before that.
At the Paramount Arts Center.
Right.
Okay.
And
go Ashland.
And also, if there's any string teachers in this audience, or if you know a string teacher, we're going to be holding a teacher training seminar during that weekend for 2 days, all day long. And we're going to teach this method to teachers in order to teach children.
Now, one last question. When you do the performance at the Singletary Center of the Arts that's open to the public, is it going to be the Appalachia Waltz Trio, or are you going to be performing with the whole symphony, or how's that going to work?
We've got a few nice things in store with the orchestra of the University of Kentucky, and we are hand selecting a couple of standout students to play with me on stage, a couple of orchestral pieces that I composed for duet. And particularly one violin concerto, double violin concerto, another double violin and cello concerto. So I'm really looking forward to that, working close hand with those.
So this concert is going to be Friday, October 30th at the Singletary Center for the Arts, and you're all invited to be there. Mark O'Connor, everybody.
Thanks.
Got a spare room behind the barn for my Mac attack when I'm on the farm. You click it on, then you click around. See the cyber fun I found. Well, I'm a hayseed of the first degree. I'm a country boy from Tennessee. But on the screen I'm so debonair. I'm a cyber hunk with a full head of hair. And I'm looking online. Gigabyte drive in an old Ford truck. Lonely lady stuck in your house. I can change your world with a click of my mouse. We can ride around the planet as long as you can type. Lock the women up and bring your daughters inside, 'cause Cyber Bubba's alive. I'm an internet lover and I search the world in my cowboy boots for my cyber girl.